UNESCO scientists chose their words carefully. 100% probability of a tsunami reaching at least 1 meter somewhere in the Mediterranean within the next 30 to 50 years. 100%. That comes from the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, the body that monitors ocean hazards globally. Once you understand what instruments first detected beneath the seafloor off Sicily in 2016, that number stops feeling like a statistic. Mount Etna is Europe's most active volcano. But what keeps researchers at GeoMar and Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology awake isn't the eruptions. It's that the entire eastern flank of the mountain is sliding, silently, continuously, measurably, into the Ionian Sea. 14 millimeters per year, about the width of a finger. Apply that rate to a volcanic structure rising more than 3,300 meters above sea level, over 10,800 feet, and extending roughly 25 kilometers in width. And you have an enormous wedge of rock and compressed geological history pressing toward the ocean at the pace of a growing fingernail. Every single year. I spent several days going through monitoring data and recent published research before scripting this, and one study kept pulling me back. A paper published in March 2026 in the Journal of Geophysical Research, Solid Earth, by Michel Benzing and colleagues at the University of Turin and the University of Kiel. It's the most detailed three-dimensional thermomechanical model ever built for Etna's sliding flank. What it revealed about fluid and gas pockets trapped beneath the flank, and their connection to hydrothermal structures on the seafloor, is where the scientific picture gets genuinely complicated. Most Etna coverage skips this part entirely. The historical record is what makes the full scale of it legible. 8,000 years ago, the eastern flank of Mount Etna collapsed into the Ionian Sea. Not gradually, not incrementally. It went. The water displacement sent waves across the Mediterranean that left their signature in sediment layers along what is now the coast of Israel, more than 1,600 kilometers away. No written record of that event exists. Human civilization in the region was barely established. But sediment cores from submarine surveys tell that story with more precision than any ancient text could. That collapse created what is now one of the most recognizable features of the Sicilian landscape. A massive amphitheater-shaped depression near the summit called Valle del Bove, the Valley of the Ox. Walls rising up to 1,000 meters on 3 sides, 5 kilometers wide. Not formed by an eruption, formed by the absence of a mountain that used to be there. Tourists photograph it every year without quite registering what it is. The scar from a geological event that reshaped the eastern Mediterranean basin. What's interesting about the present-day data is that scientists don't treat the 1980s as the beginning of this story. They treat it as the moment instruments finally became sensitive enough to see what was already in motion. Satellite GPS measurements from 2001 to 2012, documented by a team led by John Murray at the Open University in the United Kingdom, confirmed the 14 millimeter per year drift toward the Ionian Sea. Consistent, documented, ongoing. But that drift doesn't stop at the shoreline. The eastern flank extends well below sea level, descending into the Ionian Sea as a submerged slope that conventional satellite instruments couldn't reach. For decades, whether motion accelerated offshore, whether the seafloor was deforming in sync with what the onshore instruments were showing, that stayed an open question. A team of marine scientists sailed to Sicily in 2016 with technology that could finally close it. What they recorded in May 2017, 8 days of movement that no land-based sensor caught, is where this story becomes urgent rather than historical. In 8 days in May 2017, the submerged flank moved 4 centimeters seaward and subsided by 1 centimeter. 4 centimeters. Roughly 2 fingers placed side by side. That doesn't sound like much until you consider that nothing triggered it. No eruption, no earthquake on land, no detectable surface precursor. The flank simply slipped. The team from GeoMar, led by marine geodynamicist Morelia Orlob, had placed 5 acoustic transponders on the seafloor along the fault boundary. Every 90 minutes, each device pinged the others. Travel time of those signals, measured to less than 1 centimeter precision, told researchers exactly how distances between transponders were changing. When May's event registered, it was the first time in scientific history that a slow slip event had been detected and quantified in a submerged volcanic flank. The results appeared in Science Advances. Etna's hazard profile was reassessed immediately after. The 2026 thermomechanical modeling study added something the earlier data hadn't explained mechanically. Beneath the sliding flank, Seismic tomography had previously identified zones of anomalously low seismic velocity, pockets of pressurized fluid and gas within the volcanic structure. The new three-dimensional models showed these pockets form a structural weak zone at the base of the sliding system and reduce friction at the interface between the flank and the underlying rock. Picture water underneath a block of ice on a ramp. Except the ramp is a 25-kilometer wide wedge of volcanic material, and the water is a network of pressurized hydrothermal fluids tied to the volcano's own internal circulation. As the flank shifts and deforms the seafloor, it changes the pressure environment for hydrothermal vent structures on the ocean floor, a relationship the current literature treats as an active field of investigation, not a fully established causal chain, but one with a coherent physical mechanism. Several of you asked about seafloor hydrothermal systems after the axial seamount video. If you want a direct comparison of how both systems behave under tectonic stress, drop axial in the comments. The 2025 INGV field campaign deployed high-precision creep meters across the Fiandaca fault system on Etna's eastern side, after a cluster of aligned microquakes matched rupture patterns of historical surface breaks documented in geological trenching sites. The instruments confirmed a slow subsidence trend that had shifted westward by several dozen meters since 2020, consistent with known flank movement direction. What the 2026 models confirmed is that gravity is the primary driver, not magma pressure. The geometric evidence is straightforward. Deformation measured both onshore and offshore consistently increases as you move away from the volcanic summit toward the coast and into the sea. If magma were pushing the flank outward, peak deformation would cluster near the crater. It doesn't. It occurs closest to the waterline, where the weight of the mountain presses against clay-rich marine sediments that slope toward the Mediterranean. The volcano isn't being pushed from inside, it's being pulled by its own weight on a foundation that cannot hold it indefinitely. What researchers consistently decline to say is when a slow slide becomes something faster. That's not evasion. No instrument currently operating can predict the transition from creep to catastrophic failure. What the models can describe is scale. A major collapse of the eastern flank would involve a volume of material spanning roughly 20 by 25 kilometers. Tsunami propagation studies project wave heights reaching eastern Sicily and Calabria within minutes, and the Greek island arc, the Turkish Aegean coast, and portions of the Lebanese and Israeli shorelines within hours. Who is realistically in the risk zone? A large part of the eastern Mediterranean basin. The confined geometry of the sea amplifies wave propagation rather than absorbing it. INGV modeling identifies eastern Sicily, the Calabrian coast, the Greek mainland and island arc, the Turkish Aegean shoreline, and portions of the Lebanese and Israeli coasts as areas of direct impact. No published scientific basis exists for projecting significant impact beyond the Mediterranean basin in this scenario, and no researcher involved in this work is calling an imminent collapse. What they are saying is that the deformation is continuous, the seafloor is moving in sync with the volcanic flank above it, the fluid weak zone is real, and the early warning monitoring network that would actually give people time to act is still being assembled. The UNESCO Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission's regional assessment is clear. A 1 meter plus Mediterranean tsunami is not a question of if, it's a question of when, within 30 to 50 years. That probability covers multiple sources, not Etna alone, but Etna remains the worst-case landslide tsunami scenario in the entire basin. What stays with me after all of this is something a bit uncomfortable to sit with. The science is outpacing the infrastructure. The next video covers another monitored volcanic flank in the Pacific, where scientists are asking the same questions and working with a much shorter timeline. Subscribe so you don't miss it.